open up, break through your own chest. You are encouraged to trust your intuitive recognition of which environments and relationships harmonize well with you. Hello, Capricorn. Hi Capricorn, I am Kristen and I'm a healer. In this video, you are going to get a full rundown of the Saturn in Pisces retrograde and how it applies to you and your Capricorn placements. I begin with the astrology and I end with the card reading. If at any point in this video you feel connected to me and you would like to join my client circle, you can do so by joining the link here and also in the bio. I welcome you. And you guys know I am a global citizen, and so if you have not already, let me know where you're listening from in the comments and we can all connect on a worldly and global level. Now, with all that being said, let's get into this. All right, hello Capricorn. So this video is about the Saturn in Pisces retrograde and how it applies to you and what it is that you need to know about it. So the thing about this energy that is so I guess specific and very important is because Saturn, you being a Capricorn, Saturn is big for you. Saturn applies to you. Whatever Saturn is doing is something that you need to be aware of wherever Saturn is finding itself. And so when we look at a Saturn retrograde, it's important for you to then look at this energy and bring it back to your own identity and know what to expect and what is going to be in store for you. So when we look at the Saturn in Pisces placement, it is happening in your third house. And for you, the third house is ruled by what we like to call the Gemini house. And this is about your communications, your close quarters, sibling relationships, your neighbors, your neighborhood, your day-to-day activities. And so this is the kind of energy that has been operating for you since Pisces transitioned into Saturn early last year. And so in this case, as it goes into retrograde, it's going to be there for some time. It's beginning at the end of this month and going into November of this year. So that's a good chunk of time. And it's going to also be married with a series of transits that are deeply affecting you, like the Capricorn full moon happening this week, the second Capricorn moon that's happening next month, and then also Capricorn going back into Pluto in September of this year and finally leaving in November of this year. So I believe November of this year. So at the end of the year, obviously this energy in terms of this retrograde tied with the Pluto is going to cause a lot of big transformations, especially tied to your identity and how you relate to the people closest around you. But that's for another time. Let's bring it all the way back to right now and how this energy is similar, but in a lesser degree in this moment. And a part of the reason why is because we are here leading up to Cancerian season, which is your opposite season with two prominent Capricorn moons and this retrograde. So it's kind of like, again, the beginning of what it is that you will experience at the end of this year. And this is going to look like you redefining yourself and how it is that you look at yourself in relation to the people around you. Now, for those of you who are navigating spaces that are unfamiliar to you, so this could mean that you recently moved. If you are living in corners where maybe you are not native, right? So it could mean language barriers. It could mean cultural differences. Again, if you're new to the neighborhood, something like that. These are going to be big conversations for you and what you're going to be really channeling during this time period of retrograde. You want to dive deeper when it comes to the people around you. So if you have been isolated or disconnected, which makes sense as Capricorn has kind of gone through so much in terms of themselves this year, and it's felt like even when you've reached out to touch people, almost as if every relationship that you tried to form could have been taken away from you, or things that you thought you saw opportunities in, maybe you realized that it wasn't an opportunity. A lot of that has had to come with the fact that you've been growing and changing at such a great rate that your vibration, oftentimes you align with one person, but because of the change, the tail end of the transformational energy of Pluto, being in the 8th year, it's like you are one person one day, and then the next thing you know, you're vibrating out of that energy, and then vibrating out of another one at a very rapid rate during this 8th year. So that's a part of the reason why connections have been hard to hold on to for you. Even for some of you, it could have caused loneliness, and others of you, it could be self-imposed isolation, and for many of you, it could be somewhere in between. But in this case, this is you diving deeper with this energy. So you really want to feel at home in your close quarters. On simple terms, this can find many of you wanting to connect with your neighbors. It could find you wanting to connect deeper with your neighborhood. For others of you, where you could be in an entirely different place. So in a sense of not just a different neighborhood, but you could be in a different country. You could be in a different what else is a city or a state or something like that. This kind of energy could find you wanting to really expand yourself in terms of where it is that you are. So really reaching out and touching all the crevices of the possibilities of where it is that you find yourself. For others of you who did not move or are not moving, you could want to travel more, but the kind of travel that feels more homey. So instead of maybe traveling like a tourist, you can find yourself wanting to travel in a way where you really want to get to know people. You really want to connect with them. You really want to kind of bind your energy to people that feel like true neighbors in that sense. When it comes to friendships or even just day-to-day connections, you're looking to feel a deep connection. And a lot of that has had to do with post-trauma, you guys still healing and then transforming, knowing your worth, your wealth, and your internal value, and then wanting to ensure that your connections align with that energy. You guys have been falling deeply in love with yourself and having a strong sense of personal power. And through awakening that strong sense of personal power, the desire to share and connect with others is at a high standard degree, in that sense where you're not tolerating the difficult things or the painful things that you once did in the past. But you know, the more you love yourself, the more you want to love others, right? The more you increase wealth in terms of self, the more you want to expand that and share that with others, and also have it be brought back to you. You want to pour and be poured into. And the good thing about this is, for many of you who might have had very toxic Capricorn traits in the past, where you could have been social climbers, you could have been cold because you only looked at people as transactional, you looked at your relationships as transactional, every moment was networking, you know, all of those dark-sided Capricorn traits, users, you know, all the things that you guys could have done in the past. This breakdown of what Pluto has done to you, and this aftermath Pluto energy has done to you, has made it so that you've had to kind of rid yourself of all of those very toxic traits, and knowing how to truly connect with people, knowing how to really like bring your body, your soul body connection into another person, and not just looking at things like they are transactional or people like they are transactional. And a lot of that could have been birthed through pain, loss, abrupt like tower moments, different things like that. And so this is where the new you has found yourself. And so you really are understanding the value of your connections. And so you want to expand on them. Whether it is spending more time in your neighborhood. For others of you who have not moved, you could be looking at where it is that you live in a new light. So let's say you've been there for a while, but you have not seen it the right way, or maybe during the darkness of the transitions, you kind of got blinded to its value. It's almost like a light bulb turns on and you're starting to see that there are opportunities where it is that you are. There's much more to explore where it is that you are that you did not see before. Again, wanting to get closer to the people in your vicinity, your day-to-day life, your neighbors, your neighborhood, like I've said, and then also your siblings. So third house represents siblings. So for many of you who have wounded relationships with your siblings, this retrograde is asking you to visit it. So some of you can find yourself restoring relationships with siblings, being able to heal really, really wounded spaces with your siblings. Or if you're not healing the relationship itself, you are offering forgiveness for what happened in the relationship. So it could be maybe not, like if you've had to go no contact, maybe not reopening contact, but being able to put to bed whatever grudges or old stories that you've been holding on to when it comes to your relationships with your siblings, and bringing about a great healing, which then works in your favor for you being able to again connect more, expand more in your close quarters, and healing whatever wounds that stop you from feeling safe when connecting with other people, with building home with other people. We have to remember that Aries is still in Chiron, and as it's at its tail end of being in Chiron, along with the final countdown of Capricorn Pluto at the end of this year, we're still in that energy, right, of the cardinal war, right, which is Aries, Chiron, Capricorn, Pluto, and the new energy, the new experience of when Chiron goes into Taurus next year, and Pluto is fully rested in Aquarius. So we're at the final countdown, as I said. And so in so many ways, this is, again, you defining what home means to you, stabilizing in your home, stabilizing in your corners, really saying, I am at home where it is that I am. And that home in the body being expanded and expressed through home around you, and who it is that you let in. Who are you connecting with? Who are you talking to? Friendships that feel very good. Friendships that feel again, almost like siblings. So if you're not restoring a relationship with a sibling, you want to have the kind of connection with a friend that feels that way. Friendships that feel like they can replace sibling relationships. Really wanting to get close with people, tied to them, connected to them, feel whole with them, because it's a part of you expanding on feeling whole within yourself. I said whole, but home kind of wanted to come out, right? So I guess home and whole within yourself, especially after all that you've encountered and all that you've had to go through. You really want to bring in healed connections, and you want to bring them in where they're a day-to-day experience. You want to be able to create the kind of friendships or relationships where you are talking to someone almost every day. The kind of relationship, again, with your neighborhood or your neighbors that feels very cozy for you. And for those of you who are navigating entirely new cities, states, countries, or islands, it's really wanting to feel culturally at ease and culturally connected. Nonetheless, it's a great amount of healing. Where there is Pisces, there is healing. Okay, so in other situations, in terms of work, you guys could be able to, especially if you own a healing based business, you guys can find yourselves being able to start your businesses in your close quarters, and luck being on your side, especially as long as you pay attention to the little details, as Jupiter is in Gemini, being able to create successful businesses that feel more like homey type businesses, where you want to be where the people are, right? The kind of businesses that make people feel cozy and connected to you can definitely thrive during this retrograde. Your communication with others is heightened. So especially this is for you guys who have moved countries where there are language differences or language barriers. You want to heal that. So you could find yourself really wanting to embrace language based on where it is that you are. Again, really immersing yourself in the cultural identities of those who surround you, not wanting to feel separated or isolated from them in any kind of way. And again, maybe mastering languages that once were a struggle for you, or mastering communication styles that once were a struggle for you. So this is big for you guys who've had like anxiety, social anxiety, being able to actually heal that through building strong, close quarter relationships with the people that are in your surrounding areas. Another big thing as well is controlling how you relate to others. That's a big conversation. And in this sense, again, because we have this Capricorn full moon starting this energy in Cancer season, it's saying, how do you connect with other people? And you really want to heal whatever blockages that you might have had with how you connect to and relate to others. And especially for you guys who have lived in the same place for a very long time, but there could have been some kind of wounds, or maybe you weren't seeing it in the right way, healing that relationship, getting closer to the people around you, or being able to restore old friendships, people that maybe you haven't talked to in a while, being able to bring back old friendships and create a lot of compassion with them. For others of you, it could be having compassion for your neighborhood in general, being able to understand people's experiences and their perspectives and their ideologies. We're going to see on the world stage a lot of things tied to this energy when we talk about compassion. I do not want to get into politics, but the retrograde ends in November, and it will transition from now until then. So as we see this, it's people having to revisit what compassion means to them in terms of how they relate to others. And this resistance in the retrograde will pretty much create the kind of dynamic where just when you think you want to lack compassion, something is going to force you to have to understand, see, and feel the narrative of the individual that might be separate from the self. And so this is a big thing that'll happen again in your close quarters, your day-to-day experiences with the people around you. Focus as much as you can on connection than you do on what separates you from the individual. We are on a playing field of duality. That is the way of our world. But there also is the playing field of connection and oneness. As the Capricorn, all eyes are on you in terms of you being a leader in this energy. You guys have been given the opportunity to be able to play the background. Thank goodness. But as you've been able to play the background, you guys have developed yourselves as leaders in your own right. So if you can understand the individual in terms of the way that you have related to being able to go through the dark night of the soul within your own right, and also see the other side of the light, and that being able to create kind of a almost like a Libran effect in terms of how you relate and connect to others as you can in terms of healed relationships with your close quarters, with your day-to-day experiences, old friendships, siblings, etc. And most importantly, you want to heal the way in which other people see you. So some of you could have shown up in not the best light in the past, could have been, you might have been cruel in your last relationship, or maybe you closed yourself off to people and they didn't really know who you were or what you believed in on a very raw level. Some of you could have been, maybe during your Plutonian transit, been cruel. Some of you could have been, because Capricorn sometimes can go into a space of rigidity with how they think and consume others. So some of you can find yourself going through a renewal in how you see things, your political beliefs, your personal perspectives tied to the people in your life. Again, a huge wave of compassion when it comes to who is in your life and who isn't. And you really want to redefine how people see you. You want to show up in the world in a new way. You've done a lot of change and a lot of transformation. And during this time period, as it begins with your full moon during the Cancer season and with the the Gemini Jupiter backing you up, you really want to put in the work when it comes to your service to the world, because Jupiter in Gemini is also your 6th house activation, which is Virgo, and your service to the world. So you want to show people, for most of you, how much you understand them, and oftentimes a softer approach, a more understanding approach, a more giving energy is one that you're showing up with more in this next year, in this next transit of the Saturn retrograde. And lastly, I would say in terms of entrepreneurship, this is a really great time for you. Most definitely, if you guys are starting a business, this is a great moment to do so, especially if your business is in healing and or service or health. Health, healing, service. When you think of those 3 things, we think about progression and growth. These kinds of businesses will be very successful during this time. Regardless of what may happen on the outside for you guys, you need to center how to restore the individual, whether it is, again, through physical, psychological, emotional, or spiritual health, how you can be of service to others, and or how you can heal whatever blockages exist within them. So think of yourself as a resting point for the individual, and that can be a very progressive front when it comes to you in business. Entrepreneurship is lighting up for you guys, and it's very much working in your favor. Okay, so that's what I've got for you. Networking is big as well. You know how to talk to people. Your energy is feeling very grounded and open. So utilize that the best that you can and allow space for forgiveness and grace. But that is your astrology. Let's get into the reading now. All right. Hello, collective. So I just wanted to take a brief moment to talk about the guided meditations. I'm so happy to have been working on them. And those of you who have received them, they are very new. You guys have been happy, very, very happy. And it's made me proud of myself in terms of being able to connect with you guys and give you the best of me in terms of helping your processes as we all heal and grow and transform. So briefly, I wanted to kind of touch on this energy as we move toward the remainder of this reading. And I just wanted to have us take a deep breath and breathe out. Reminding ourselves that we are in charge of our reality and it cannot be up for debate. We are in alignment and we are following our right paths. Breathing. Embracing the divinity of this moment as it allows us to progress forward and push ourselves toward our ultimate soul progressions. Amen. Okay, back to the reading now. Okay, Capricorn, so here we are with the Pisces retrograde, with the Saturn and Pisces retrograde reading. So I want you guys to keep in mind that this is lasting a good chunk of time, okay? So I don't want you to take this energy and think that it's a simple breakdown in terms of the next couple of days or the next 2 weeks or so, like usually with the moon readings. This is lasting a series of months, all right? So this energy in itself is transformational. So when we look at the subject here, we see the Lovers, and this is accompanied with the Four of Pentacles and the Five of Wands. More than anything, we go back to the subject of relationships. What is going on with the way you relate to others, but not just your relationships, but also your choices, your decisions. With the Four of Pentacles, we see it here with what it is that you will give and what it is that you won't give. The art of self-preservation. The Four of Pentacles is also a Capricorn card. And this is the Five of Wands. Again, yes, your decisions and your choices, but more than anything, the way that you relate to other people. At the bare bones of it, how you relate to others and how they relate back to you. We've got some pain here. We've got some heartbreak, outdated thinking. So for many of you, this is asking you to question your conditioning. And the retrograde is saying, okay, where are you more compassionate? Where can you give more water, not only to others, but also to yourself? And as you continue to do this in terms of visiting the Lovers relationship, this is not just about romantic. When we're looking at the Lovers, we're looking at all of your relationship dynamics. The baby with the bathwater, the equal give and take, the ins and outs, the yins and the yangs of the ways in which you relate to other people. And as you revive, transform, and heal this subject of your life in terms of your relationships, right? And how you, because the third house is, yes, your close quarters, but for you guys in specific, you're changing the way your social life navigates, where almost every social interaction you have feels close to you. And it's like this relationship experimentation because you are different now. You've changed so much. You've transformed so much since then, since the past. And this last year has been exponentially transformational. So as we go through this retrograde and you're continuing to change in your final year of transformation in the 8th year, you are changing the way you connect with other people. You are changing the way you show up in this world. And that is accompanied with your self-preservation, not being the overgiver, not being the oversharer, knowing how to practice more self-worth through self-wealth by keeping what is yours, yours, by making sure that you are not spilling out your own energy. And again, you're knowing how to preserve the self while still connecting with others. And that gives room for some powerful connections and bonds to form. But we've got it here with the Five of Wands. This is not necessarily the easiest experience because as you awaken yourself to a new social dynamic, a new social identity, and allowing yourself to connect more with people, there's always going to be conflict. And for some of you guys, your past was riddled with you kind of looking at conflict and feeling like it needed a bigger reaction from you, or not always knowing how to properly socialize in certain dynamics, especially when Pluto was there pressurizing you and sitting itself on you the way that it was. It could have felt like, because so many things were karmic, it could have felt like all of your social dynamics were at a constant state of attack. Some of you could felt like you were constantly used, or you were constantly up against a war or a wall when it came to other people. But during this retrograde, as you learn to put more water and more compassion, which is really just you gaining more control over your relationship dynamics, you are aware of when a fight is actually worth fighting and when it's just human relations. When it's just people going toe-to-toe, what is to be taken seriously and what isn't. How something that once felt really big to you is actually quite small, and actually is quite simple, and is not worth so much of a war. We see this along with, again, heartbroken, so grieving and mourning, and this is cassette here with outdated thinking, replaying events in your head over and over again. So it goes back to this thing when we're looking at the feelings of loss, grieving, mourning, heartbroken. A lot of you guys are going to be letting go of relationships, but also looking at the parts of yourself that have been broken by the connections you've had in the past. In your shadow, we've got you in reverse. We've got Ia Kauri in reverse. And we've got, what is that? We've got the Eight of Calabash also in reverse. So this is going along with the feeling of fears that you cannot walk away from the patterns of the past. Fears that you're going to be stuck in what it is that you were used to. Most of this is subconscious, keep in mind, especially as you're healing from grief and loss. As you are looking at heartbreaks and as you're going through these dynamics, when you're allowing yourself to open up and these conversations tied to what hurts and what doesn't hurt, and as you're trying to connect with new people and some things are working and others are not working, or revisiting relationships that were once wounded that unfortunately want to stay that way, and you seeing how these things question your self-worth, how other people can test your sense of self-confidence so much that they leave you feeling not only unabundant but insecure. And how difficult that is, because as you transformed and continue to transform so much, the idea of someone making you question your self-worth is very difficult for you at this point, because it's something that you're standing on business on, but it's something that's still quite new to you. So it's still a little fragile. And that's what sits in your shadow. Will people take away this newfound identity that you have? Will people try to attack your self-worth or your self-love like they did in the past? That's what's lingering within your shadow. Fears that the past will constantly repeat itself, that you're always going to have to be on guard, that there's always a competition, that there is always grief and mourning and sadness and loss, that you can't have both self-preservation and also openness. These are the subjects. This is the dynamic that's playing out for you for the next few months, which is a classic case of new relationship with what it means to have relationships. And your advice, we've got beyond the mind, the heart beats, relax the hold of darkness, and be at cause. That's a powerful omen right there. 1 and 2, this is all in your head. Your anxieties are in your head because of the past. Not allowing the shadows to take you and taking a deep, deep breath and saying, I am okay. I have the power to create a new stabilized dynamic in my new home, and what home means to me, and my new human relations, and my new connections with others, and the new ways that I show up with others, to others. I have what it takes to do that. I have what it takes to create that. Let's look at what's going on in your healing points. It's not to say this energy is going to be easy. There's a lot of pain here from things that took place in the past. And for others of you who are restoring relationships that you once closed the door on, a lot of this is the fight to put in to try to see where that will take you. See what it means to revisit some of the pains that you've dealt with in the past with these people. Be open to that which seems unfamiliar or different. Yeah, you guys have to take a different path. Look at things differently. Go beyond the mind to find where the heart beats. Relax the anxieties. You will experience a breakthrough as you embrace an unusual approach. You're on a soul path of accelerated spiritual growth, which is swifter but not always easier. These few months might seem like a good chunk of time, but it's a full relationship restoration in a matter of months. The quick-moving Pluto energy with the 8 energy, it's very fast. You do not have to contrive your own happiness, but you can dip into the bliss within your body to lighten your mental state, lighten the mental state beyond the mind, the heart beats, and remind yourself everything is working out beautifully. Yeah, a lot of anxieties here, a lot of fears, a lot of worries about your choices, about who you're connecting with, not wanting to repeat the past, wanting to ensure that you're moving in the right directions, not wanting anything to question your self-worth. The sacred scar is next. Both of these are fire energies for me, by the way. So this birth through fire energy that I love to see for you guys. Your inner and outer scars are marks of your soul's courage. This is the 9 of Wands for me as well. They are signs of strength and survival, of your willingness to be alive. The sacred scar speaks of that which once caused pain being transformed into higher knowledge and inner power. That which once caused pain and heartbreak is now inner power. Trauma shall be transformed through spiritual initiation, leading you from woundedness to wisdom. You have nothing to be ashamed of. You can trust your healing process and in the hidden, higher purpose behind things happening as they do. You are strong and shall flourish on all levels. So again, this goes back to the narrative of this pain. The dance between the past pains and the present pursuits. Not wanting to feel insecure, not wanting to feel like you're stuck in the past, wanting to navigate these conflicts the right way. But again, a lot of it is your conditioning because of your own heartbreak. These are not wars, and I don't feel these wars or battles that you're fighting in the moment. At most, we've got the 5 of Wands, which is a little bit of a scuffle, but it's not real. As you awaken your new identity, you have to allow yourself to be at peace with the things that have happened up until this point, because the things that have happened up until this point were made to create you. You do not have to worry about the way in which you connect and relate to others. You are okay. You are safe. Let's get some more clarity. So at the bottom of the healing point deck, we've got the Shakatapat of Seahorse, and I'll read this one for you. At the bottom of the tarot deck, we've got the 2 of Wands. Forward movement. This is you opening yourself to a new world, a new reality. At the bottom of the clarity deck, we've got date. Getting back out there, meeting someone new. So this again goes back in this viewpoint of like the grieving, the loss, the sadness, the pains of the past, and this kind of causing you to sit in this ongoing nightmare. But you are awakening to new beginnings, new people. You're meeting new people. You're connecting with new individuals. At the bottom of the shadow deck, we've got Ia Cutlass. So again, fears of not making the right decisions. Not wanting to be taken advantage of, and the fear there is that you'll be turned up, your discernment will be turned on its head. And at the advice deck, we got visions of life beyond death, the death of the past, the death of old experiences, of the pains of the things that you've had to let go of. In terms of the healing point, this is an earth energy for me. As you embrace your inner essence, oh yes, 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 you will be at peace with who you are. You will be at peace with who you are after your scars, after you embrace your scars, including your vulnerability, and no longer see the need to conform to social ideals which have no true resonance of your heart, aka not conform to who it is that you thought you once had to be, who it is that you think you should be, trying to hide your wounds, hide your wars, embrace the scars in order to build the proper connections, in order to live the most authentic connections. Be who you truly are, because it is fast movement. This retrograde is only a few months, but you're talking about big social renewal, as I'm saying, and you do so as you are fully in your own energy, letting go of the anxieties, because you're understanding that, hey, not everyone is looking for perfection. And in fact, you guys always trying to present yourselves as perfect is a part of the reason why you've been magnets for misaligned relationships in the past. Those people who seek perfection are usually the people that are using you, or don't truly seek to love you or be your friends. Wanting to, especially when we're talking about neighbors in close quarters in the third house, a lot of the time moving yourself into neighborhoods that are based on perfection oftentimes allows you to only and solely have surface level relationships with those who are around you. Open up. Break through your own chest. You are encouraged to trust your intuitive recognition of which environments and relationships harmonize well with you, supporting your spiritual growth and well-being on all levels. And a part of what increased your intuition is your sacred scar. How the sacred scars have caused you to have the kind of intelligence and awareness so that you can navigate your social dynamics in a much healthier way than you have before, so you can release the fear of not being able to walk away from the things that have taken place in the past, and the patterns and the fears of people questioning your self-worth, and you being in dynamics that question your abilities or who it is that you are and your values. Letting go of the fears of the replaying the things that have taken place in the past, and being able to actually relax the hold of darkness and be at cause. Understand that with self-preservation also comes openness, not closing yourself off due to fear. You have an innate capacity to manifest. Relax and you shall attract all that you need. Double confirmation on relax. So let's get some, let's dive a little bit deeper, okay? What is it that you need to know? What is it that you need to be doing? What do you need to look out for? Okay, look out for. What is it that you need to be doing? What is it that you need to know? Okay, so what is it that you need to know? We've got the Four of Wands. What is it that you need to be doing is the Six of Pentacles. And what is it that you need to look out for is the Page of Pentacles with the Four of Pentacles. So this is interesting because what is it you need to know? No surprises here. You are building a new home. Four of Wands is all about, well, obviously we have celebration, but in this case, the Four of Wands is about your close quarters, home building. The same energy that's been going on as you've been healing this Chiron energy. home building. And there are things to celebrate here. There are things to celebrate. People to celebrate, people that are connected to you. You're building this foundation. Know that you are building this foundation. What is it that you need to be doing is focus on only giving to relationships that give back to you, giving only to those who give back. All right, the Six of Pentacles is all about equal give and take. Not being an overgiver, not being an overshare, focusing on what invests back into you at the exact same rate that you invest into it, and not compromising. Look at all people as return on investments because you are building this solid home. What is it that you need to look out for is the Page of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles. So again, this is page offers. So people that seem like they have a lot to give, but in reality, there's a lot that they're holding back. Small offers. The good thing is that here is that you're so strong in your energy during this transit that you know not to accept cups. You know not to accept wands. You know not to accept swords. You are open to only pentacles and pentacles only offers that have substance, but be wary of the offers that have substance that do not serve for the long term, that are small and minute, and people holding their hands or hiding their hands. You don't want page energy. You want to go stronger than that, heavier than that. All right, so let's try one more thing. All right, so just a little confirmation on what it is that you need to be doing. Yeah, financially drained, lacking viable options, recharge and regroup. Exactly. People that drain you. People that do not have enough to offer you, and it is an illusion, like they're offering the illusion to you, and solely the illusion. Be wary of this energy. Do not fall trap to those who have more in their hands than they show, and the only offers they have to give are page offers. What is it that you need to be doing? You receive long-deserved fame and awards. Keep moving forward. So again, continuing to align yourself only which that gives back to you. The kind of connections that feel so damn good, you're questioning whether you deserve it or not. When you meet someone and their energy is just so right, the person's energy just feels so good. You feel so happy to know them. Keep your heads there. And you will be reaping the rewards of your hard work, the fruits of your labor. All of this, all the work that you've put into changing yourself, transforming yourself, moving, growing, saying what you will be and what you won't be, putting on all this extra work about changing your belief systems, getting stronger, getting better, cutting people off, cutting people out. All of this work that you've done during your transformation process is what it is that you are reaping. It has not been easy to cut people out of your life that you still love. It's not easy to transform at the rate that which you guys have been doing. So you put in the work. You deserve love. You deserve these solid foundations of relationships in your close quarters. The safe, comfortable feeling of home is something you've invested so much into. You deserve these kind of connections that feel like you are grateful to know them. You're grateful to be here. You're grateful to live here. You're grateful to have these experiences because of your sacred scars. You've put in all the work. This is the focus that you need to be having, deserving. And stay away from things that make you feel depleted and people that put you in a space of depletion. Okay, so that's what I got for you guys in terms of this retrograde. I love you. Ciao.